here we are again, dearest Deb and Moira, with
Yay!
our deliciously motivated mindset.
I love that title. Hey, Moira. Hey, listeners.
Hi, listeners. Guess what we're going to talk today about? We're going to talk about love. All about love.
Yeah. The love boat. It's exciting and you. Oops, okay, righto.
Don't you feel loved now? There, you had a wee love song from Deb.
Yeah, the only one you're ever going to get, yeah.
No, we wanted to do this to actually record a conversation all about love, because it's getting close to Valentine's Day and lots of people look at love or relationships, whether you're in a relationship or not. It's all about attracting love in your life. And so I know we talk a little bit off microphone, if you like, about being loving. What would you say is the best way or a tip that you can give people, specifically people who are not feeling like they have love or what they want as in a loving relationship in their life? What would you suggest or direct to them as this mindset piece, Deb?
Oh my gosh, I love the way you just go one thing. I'm thinking you're thinking one thing and there's a million goddamn things. My mind's racing a miles off. But for me, you know, well, there's multiple levels. Okay, we'll just go. There's multiple levels.
Multiple levels, of course.
Multiple levels. One is to actually look at yourself in the mirror and recognize that you are an amazing human being who's worthy of loving oneself and to gift that to others as well.
Yeah.
But the first one is really the hardest one I think we do, is because a lot of people, you know, even on the airplanes, they say put your own oxygen mask on first. Yep. A lot of people don't do that. So it's actually, it's wise, incredibly wise. You must love yourself to give your love out there.
Absolutely.
Because if you don't love yourself, what you're going to attract into your life is going to be hard, dark lessons,
or the feeling like it's not there, that your love is not there, right?
Yeah.
I love what you just said, because I think it's so critical. There are many quotes were landing in my mind when you were saying that about we have to love ourselves first, because I believe that we teach people how to treat us. So if we are not loving to ourselves, and then we expect or think somebody's going to love us, how does that work?
Yeah. And there's a word that really resonates with me, but also makes me cringe, is boundaries. And if you don't have, which is another way of loving yourself, if you don't have those boundaries in place, you're going to get, you know, a broken fence come at you. If you're not clear on what you would love, or going to accept into your life, from people, from animals, you know, from yourself, then those boundaries, boundary to me is like a concrete wall, or probably more like a barbed wire wall, actually, you know, but it's actually allowing those boundaries to have them far enough away, but also be aware of what your expectations are.
So I like that, but I think that's interesting that you say boundaries being barbed wire fence, because to me, boundaries are more of a sense of resilience. To me, a boundary is me putting myself inside a bubble that's resilient, that I know I'm looking after me, and that love will come through because I am being loving to myself inside that resilient bubble.
Yeah.
But are you saying you're surrounded by barbed wire?
Yeah, that's really interesting. Because when you're saying that, I felt so loving, and then I'm like, wow, look at my boundaries. They're barbed wire. You ain't coming near me. There's a concrete wall. No, I want to be able to see what they are. So no, it's barbed wire. Yeah, I guess it's about it is that bubble allowing in. But you've got to feel, in your heart, you've got to feel like it's you and it's just about loving yourself. I don't really know how to word it.
No, you're
It's just,
absolutely right. But it's about trust too, right? Inside that, we're both sitting here with our hands over our hearts.
yeah, it is that, but it is that. That's what I was thinking. It's that whole holding in and putting your hand there and
Yeah.
breathing in and breathing out and just trusting and knowing it's going to be okay no matter what, if you go left or if you turn right,
Yes.
you know, and don't beat yourself up if you turn left and you should have turned right, you know. But it's that holding your hand on your heart and breathing and going, I am alive. I love myself for who I am. I love my bruises, you know, whether they're visible or not. I love my, you know, surroundings. I love who I am right now. And if you can't say that, you're going to have a
There's
hell of a
step
time.
number one. There's step number one. And you know, you're absolutely right, because and I really encourage our listeners to tap into this, is that whether you're in a relationship or not, be very careful about judging yourself. All too often I see people judge themselves, or I hear about people judging themselves about whether they're in a relationship or not. So if they're not in a relationship, then they think there's something wrong with them. There's something missing with them.
Yeah.
Or even I think of other people that have talked to me about in a relationship, and they talk in very derogatory ways about their partner, which that really upsets me too.
Yeah. I think, you know, I was writing some content yesterday about some certain stuff, you know, and attracting this love into your life. And somebody's posted something about a couple of months ago for me, and it was about how you talk to yourself. Be kind, use your words gentle, and it really hit me hard, because I even joke about certain things with myself, and I go, you know, being a blonde, I go, oh, you dumb blonde, you know, and so because it's society and we joke about it, and but I'm also reconfirming that to myself. So it was really interesting about what's that self-talk that you, even because I'm a bit of a jokester, that you actually joke to yourself, and what do you say?
Yeah.
You know, and when I read that, I felt really quite sick at realizing how much I joke to myself. And if I had a partner who would say those things that I say to myself, I would have dumped their ass a long time ago.
I totally agree with you. That reminds me of that quote that basically is along the lines of saying, watch what you say to yourself, because you're listening.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Because and you know, you and I have talked about this probably on a previous episode, I believe, where we've talked about
Probably more than one episode, probably.
probably. I know we've talked about those shoulds that you just mentioned.
Yeah, that should. Yeah.
But the other part too is that our internal dialogue is often in a manner or saying things that we would never say out loud to another person.
Yeah, I've got my little goosies, my wetlies. That's exactly it. Because when I read that stuff, and it was the joking way, because I just went, oh gosh, I do that, and then I did that whole thing. If someone said that to me, would I put up with it? No way.
Right.
And it was a real and you don't realize how much you do it. But I love myself. Yes, there's aspects I don't love, and I'm working on them. To love them, because there's nobody who loves all of themselves. There's nobody who loves himself 100%, because then we would be done. We've got nothing else to improve on.
We would just be complete unconditional love bubbles.
Yeah, exactly. But it is an interesting one of what, and when you see new couples together, or not new couples together, or people in the way they speak, or the way they look down at somebody, or they look up lovingly at somebody, or any of those things, you do look at that and you go, gosh, I wouldn't put up with that.
Right.
Or, oh, that's lovely, you know, to see that. But what do we do to ourselves? And it is looking in that mirror and loving ourselves. When I travel, I do have a giggle. When I travel, I have liquid chalk, and I can hear my accent. And I draw a big love heart in the middle of the hotel mirror, or the Airbnb place I'm staying, in the bathroom mirror. So when I go into the toilet and I wash my hands, I look at myself in the mirror, and I'm in a bright red bubble, or a bright red love heart, or a pink love heart. And I love seeing that. Or if I'm cleaning my teeth, I do that. I don't do it at home as much now as I used to, but I love doing that, because that's just my little quirky thing. So I'm in a love bubble of loving yourself, because no one's attractive when they're cleaning their teeth. But if I can clean my teeth and look at myself with my toothpaste wherever it is, especially with charcoal, which I haven't done. You know, and you can do it in a pink bubble, you know, pink love heart or something. It's just a quirky little thing to go, you know.
It's a beautiful, and you've shared about doing that before, and I love that. So my practice, and I actually do this at home, not so much when I'm traveling, is I actually have a little ornamental mirror on my bedside table. It's all covered in jewels, and it's like one of those little fairy princess mirrors that you see in.
Listen to me.
Isn't that cute? And so I pick it up and I say, "Good morning, beautiful."
Oh, wow.
And I say 3 times, "I love you unconditionally," or "I love you completely." And I've actually been doing that for a really long time, and challenge people to do it too, because like you just said, I
want to cry.
That
is such a beautiful thing.
It has really served me well, and I keep doing it. You know how you said that if we did love all aspects of ourselves, then we'd be done. And I think that's part of how come I keep doing it. Is that and you know what, I've done a lot of traveling in the last year, and so I would be away from doing that practice for a certain time, and then as soon as I'm back home, I pick it back up again because it's so ingrained in me. It feels so good. It's part of my start the day up.
Well, I reach out and grab my phone. I go, who's messaged me that I've missed? That's my first thing. No. No,
my phone's not allowed in my bedroom.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, I'm a bad one for that. That's beautiful. What a lovely boy. I bet you that was hard. See, you said that and I felt like, oh my God, that's beautiful. And then went, imagine having to do that every morning.
I've said that to so many clients and they're like, really? Like, no freaking way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's just like cleaning your teeth. Once you've cleaned your teeth a few times, you've got it ingrained and you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
And it may take you a bit to actually hear it from your head into your heart.
Exactly.
But it doesn't matter how long it takes because
it doesn't. And the thing is, and that's what I'm just sharing with you and with our listeners, is once it's landed to your heart, it becomes part of you. Like your thing, you probably would never fathom not traveling with your liquid chalk to do your heart. It's like, no, of you.
I've made the car sit outside while I've remembered I didn't pack my liquid chalk. I've done that twice. So it's like a ritual. So like it's a given.
It's a given that's what you got to do. Yeah. And so this is the thing. And this, I think that it's really important for all of us to find those sacred little things, those little pieces that do give your own inner core the nod that, you know what, I do love you.
Yeah.
And not, will only love that one part of you. You know, with the other parts that we don't necessarily love, the next part is we need to accept them.
Yeah, I was just going to say gratitude, which is accept it.
Yeah. Accept it and gratitude. Because, you know, the thing is that if we can't punish ourselves into improvement, we love, we appreciate, we accept. That's how we create the harmony and the change. And so all of this, bringing that back to love, experiencing love in your life, how about just experiencing love for you to you?
Yeah.
And then, you know, the other part, and Deb, we were talking a wee bit about this before we jumped onto this recording, about looking at where do you get all the pieces of what you want met?
Yeah.
Right? You might have a wee cuddle with your dog, or in my case, my cat.
Who climbs on your head? Yeah.
Yes. Who grabs my head?
Yeah, and get your nice back massages. Yeah. Yeah, and I reference that you either have it in the one or you have it in the many.
Yeah.
And you know, I've been single for 12 years, and my relationship, as I put my fingers in the air and quote, has been definitely in the many. You know, those that intimacy or that hug. When I go to events or I meet somebody, it's a hug, and it's not just a hug, and a pat on the back. It's actually a heart to heart. You can feel their energy into yours, and it's a real meaningful,
a bond.
like
yeah.
Engulfed with, it's just right in there. It's right in your chest, their chest. You get that, but it's who do you have around? Like for me, there was people I could talk business with. And then there was other people I would talk finance, or I'd talk spirituality, or I'd talk great books, or sporting stuff. But when I had a partner, there was certain aspects that I wouldn't talk to about. So there's other people that you talk to. So you actually, even when you've got it in the one, you also have the many.
No, and I like that you just talked yourself into that, because as you were saying it, I was thinking, I think we need it in the one and the many. It's not a this or that.
Yes.
Because I have a great relationship with my husband, but I need other people to have those other kinds of conversations with. There are conversations that I don't want to, and there's no gelling between me and my husband. That's not right or wrong, but it's that you then. And this is something that I've said for years to my clients, is I don't believe any of us have the right to expect all of our needs or our conversations or our values met by one person.
And why would you want to? Yes, I totally get that. And I think for me, so I talk certain stuff, and there's people I wouldn't talk certain stuff with. So if my partner's, not into that, I'm not going to talk about that stuff.
Yeah, and why would you?
But it's also like the men, and it's categorizing male and female. It's the men who go shopping for the wives to please the wife. But in reality, don't take the men shopping. They literally don't want to be there. They'd rather, you'd have more fun going home and trying the stuff on for them. Well, actually, probably more getting on and off, because they really don't care about the outfit that you bought in reality.
That's true.
But don't do that to them. And take a girlfriend who loves to shop. Don't, it's not that it's a punishment, but because you both want to go shopping. They don't want to go shopping. Don't do it with them. But there's people you can go shopping with. There's people you don't have to. There's people you can talk, my mum loves doing coffee and a muffin, or a coffee and a scone somewhere. Now I'm not a scone girl anymore, or a muffin girl, and so my daughter loves doing it. So now when it comes to that, mum comes to town, I send my daughter to do that with her, and then I can catch up with her later and do stuff, because I don't want to sit in a noisy cafe and talk and have. But my daughter loves doing a muffin and a drink with Nat, and they go and do it. So for me, I've actually outsourced my relationship with my mother, as I just say that. Whoops. But it's stuff that I don't want to do that. I don't want to go and do that. So I don't want to. My energy is going to be false there. Mum's going to feel it. I'm going to feel it. It's not worth it. So don't take your husband shopping or whatever is what I'm trying to say. Do what you want to do, but
absolutely. But the thing that I'm feeling into as you're saying that is what you were describing is that this is about loving ourselves.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Isn't it? Because if you were not being loving and accepting of yourself, you would say, oh God, I better go because it's my mum.
Yeah.
Whereas you love yourself, and then as a projection, you love your mother. And so now you just created a win-win. Everybody wins in that, what you just described.
Well, my daughter gets free food. She doesn't get me moaning about how much she's eating or costing me as I go out, because it's not just a $2 this or a $2 that, $18 just for her food or but you're right, it is loving myself enough, but also loving both parties, all parties involved.
Absolutely. But here's the other part that's in there. Do you remember I said that we teach people how to treat us? So by you going along with something, even you were saying in your analogy about getting the husband to go shopping. I don't get my husband to go shopping. I actually prefer going by myself, because you know what? there has been times where he would come and he would say to me, he would come and he's patient, but I can feel his energy. You
Yeah.
know that I'm an intuitive. So if I have somebody behind me or in my space thinking, come on, aren't we done yet? I don't want to end this way.
I don't want to, yeah, I'm just going to try this on, and the whole, oh
God,
sake.
another one.
Another, it's the same as the one you've got 10 of them at home. Really?
Exactly.
It's exactly the same. Do you need another one? I do. Why?
Just because.
Just hold my bag. Really? Yeah.
But
Yeah.
so the thing is that it's to come back to, I do love myself enough to say, I like going out and doing stuff like that. I love him enough to say, go do your thing, go and watch a movie, go have a beer with the boys kind of thing. Whatever that is. I'm not putting words in anybody's mouth, but it's also to understand that there is no should here. The only should is that you need to be compassionate and loving and understand we all have our own flavor of love.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like what feels loving and acknowledging to me may not to you or to the other person.
I think the other thing too is, you just said before, and I'm just going to rephrase it my way, is that I have my purpose, or so you have your purpose of where you're going in life and everything, life, food, all areas of life, spirituality, and your husband has his purpose.
Yeah.
And then you have a purpose together.
That's right.
And I think that's the thing that I find in relationships is if you lose your purpose or your soul or your direction and you jump on their train, it's going to derail.
That's well said. I completely agree with you.
Because you've lost that. And if you're living out of their pocket, or they're living out, not financially or anything, and you're basically both breathing in that same air 24/7, that's not loving who you are.
No.
That's creating a codependent, like that's just
that is codependency.
Obligation. Yeah, and a lot of obligation is going to happen, and it's going to destroy your soul and others. And that's also in an intimate relationship, but also in a business situation or friends and family as well. Is that whole going over to somebody's house who moans and moans and moans and moans and moans and moans and moans, and you come away and you feel like your whole life's been sucked out of you.
Yeah.
And you come home, or you go and you just go, and they go, how was Jane? And you're like, you can't even talk about it because it's like it's drained everything.
I can't give any more energy to it. I love what you've just said, though, because what you've just described is what I describe as being the third entity, right? So like think about our podcast together. There's Moira's energy and Moira's philosophies and ways of talking, and there's Deb's energy and Deb's way of thinking and speaking, and then there's the deliciously motivated mindset. That's the third entity, and we both co-create it. It's my energy and your energy, but it's become a third thing. Look at, she got her goosebumps.
Going on there.
But to your point, every relationship is like that. When we become really authentically loving of who we are at the core, that gives us the foundation to then be able to say, here's what I'm putting into this entity. And this entity could be a business relationship. It could be client, coach client. It could be financial, whatever, right?
I love the way you put that. I love the way, I was just thinking, needy and greedy is unsexy.
Absolutely.
And that's, if someone's needy and greedy, it's unsexy. And if you want some sexy, and we all want some sexy, and that doesn't mean getting naked sexy. Well, it can, clearly. But there's, if you want a sexy and love, needy and greedy, gotta go.
Gotta go.
That's it. There's none of that. Yeah.
But that's a really interesting point too, though, because really needy and greedy could be seen as alarm bells to oneself as what am I not giving myself?
what am I giving out to attract that?
Yeah. Or what have I not allowed myself to just sit with myself to say, what do I need?
Yeah.
I can create and give myself what I need on an emotional level, on a value level, on a love level.
Yeah. It's a real heart love level too.
Absolutely. That's that. How can I be kinder to myself in this moment aspect?
Yeah. And energy, words, internal, external. But, we talked about attracting the love into your life, but it's also about, what we eat.
Mm-hmm.
Do we look at, like, I feel a lot sexier when I have a shower and wash my hair.
Right.
Like, it's just the simple stuff. Or, I'm a real perfume queen, and I love perfume, and I have to spray perfume, and I love that smell of perfume.
Right.
And, even if I'm having a bad day or yucky day or something, I will spray perfume, and I don't wait till my perfume's the perfect day, a good occasion. I'll spray my perfume and I spray my perfume 4 times a day or something, because it makes me feel great, and that's my way of loving myself. Moisturizing your body, just all those little things. I reckon I heard one day I had such dry skin, and I reckon my body went as I'm sure it did. I'm so sure it did. Lock me up, whatever. I'm sure it went because I love myself to spend that time and moisturize my body. And you don't need to spend money on loving yourself. Do something. Stand in the rain and thank the universe for raining. For raining, for the rain to come.
The rain to come.
Stand in the garden and look at your weeds and know that something's growing around you. Stop. And so it doesn't have to be money that you feed yourself and give yourself love. It can be anything, and that's that gratitude. Just that. It's that heart. It's your heart beating. If life's so freaking goddamn chaotic, stop and feel your heart and know you've still got it.
Absolutely. That's been my thing. You know that about me, Deb, that just to take a deep breath and put your hand over your heart.
You've nabbed me many a time on that. Wait a hand. Okay.
Hand on your heart. Because it's the thing. Here's the thing about it is that we are having this physical experience. It's our limbic system that wants that emotional. We want a hug. Well, if you want a hug, give yourself a hug.
Absolutely.
Wrap your arms around yourself. Put your hand over your heart. As opposed to because the truth is, you talked about that needy, greedy energy a moment ago. We are all needy of hugs or tactile expression of love.
Yeah.
So start off by giving yourself a hug.
Yeah, I'm a real toucher.
Actually, so am I. I am.
Yeah, and not necessarily strangers, maybe.
I might put my hand on your shoulder.
Yeah. That's just because you're taller than everyone else.
That's right.
Sit down. But I am a toucher, and my dog is a toucher as well. He will have to just sit right by you, even if just as long as his foot's touching you or something, and I love that. And to have in a relationship,
my cat's exactly like that too.
Oh, yeah,
you just have to put just so long as she's resting on my arm or something,
just to know that you're there. Yeah. I read an article in a newspaper in New Zealand. I was touring, and I read it, and it said, what's one thing that you do if you're in an argument with your partner? And it was a lovely couple, and it was lovely to read about them. And he 2 males, and he said they've been together for years and years and years. And I thought, I wonder if everything fades off. He said, even if we go to bed grumpy, our toes have to touch. And I remember thinking, so it's not just feet, it's actually toes. So you have to, even if you're grumpy, your toes. Now, I've tried. It's a little bit difficult because you've got to get in that position,
right?
But only if you're grumpy. So any other time, whatever, you can.
It wouldn't.
Not.
You do it for easy.
But your toes have to touch. And I thought, oh, that's a good one, because you've really got to maneuver yourself that you don't want to hear their breathing. You're so angry with them, but your toes still have to touch. Like, I loved knowing that no matter what they've done or not done to each other, and if they're grumpy, their toes, like people say, don't go to bed grumpy. We do. We say don't. We do. We try and let it go.
To be honest with you, we do, and sometimes it's a healthy thing to do, because by sleeping, you sleep on it, and in the morning you go, oh, well, it actually wasn't that big a deal.
Yeah, was it really that bad? Yeah.
But do you know what I loved what you just shared, though, which was really cool, is it plays into what I just said about that third entity. Because because
I like the way
he's pissed off, she's pissed off, but the relationship still needs acknowledging. And that touching toes is a beautiful way of saying it. I'm still working on my crap. You're still working on your crap. But guess what? We're both still here.
Yeah, you're right. I do like that. Yeah.
And then they can have their conversation the next morning, and it'll probably be just fine.
And the conversation straight after is, once everybody started breathing and put their hand on their heart, they realize, really, is it really that big an issue? And it's only when other people bring in their perception, like, oh, you shouldn't have said that, or you should have done that this way, da-da-da. But in reality, they might have resolved it. Yeah, no, I did like the toes touching.
I thought that awesome.
That was really cute. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But you know, the other part too is, I think that in a loving relationship, whether it's an intimate relationship or a friendship, is to own your stuff. When we are really loving of ourselves, it's not that you did something wrong or you pissed me off. It's that I let myself down, or I got offended by something, or I let something trigger or niggle me or under my skin.
Yeah, I reacted my way, which is uncool. Yeah. Yeah. And because you did that, then I did that. It's that one-upmanship. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So the thing, so here's a question, and I don't know where this came from. It just landed in my mind. Somewhere somebody taught me this thing of what would love do. Just in any moment, what would love do? Right here, what would love do?
Yeah.
And that can actually sometimes...
That really just humbles you.
Doesn't it? And so maybe that would stop that spiral of, like, you just pissed me off because of this, and then I did this, and then you did that, and then I'm gonna one up you now.
Yeah, and it is a one up too.
It is. Yeah, I'll show you.
Yeah,
I'll show you that I have the right to feel or be this.
Yeah.
What would love do?
Oh yeah, I like that. I'm going to use that. I'm going to steal your idea. I'm going to run with it. Yeah, what would love do? I love that idea. And yeah, because it just actually makes you get present. It just makes you get present and out of your mindset of where everything is.
In your incessant chatter of, like, how dare they hit this person, how dare I, and like you say, I love that. It brings you completely into this moment, and it humbles you into that is, and at the end of the day, that's all that matters is love.
Yeah.
And so that is one of the best ways. So this is what our conversation today is about: how to attract more love into your life. Well, what would love do to do that?
Yeah. Yeah. So what? Yeah, I don't even really know what to say after that. It's changing your state. You know, it's just changing the state of your chaos, where you are, whatever situation you're in. It's just snapping things out of stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just changing that state. That's all it is.
Changing your pattern. When the pattern isn't serving or being that message of love is not filling
Yeah.
your heart, then it is time to like you said, it's a pattern interrupt. It's a shift your state.
Yeah.
Shift your state to be the love that you may be looking for.
Yeah.
Because it's there.
Isn't it interesting? Other people can see, I talk about, your worth, and I talk about your self-worth and your other worth, and then, your financial worth.
Mm-hmm.
And else, if you rated yourself of your self-worth, and then you rated your other worth, and other worth is what people think of you,
mm-hmm.
and that's the ones who love you and the ones who don't. But we're talking about the ones who do love you. They would always rate you. They would always rate you higher than what you rate yourself at.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And it's because you say things like, oh my God, I've eaten too much, look at my belly. And, a partner or a friend will go, oh my God, look at mine. And, oh, it's not that bad, and they do that whole talk back to uplift us
mm-hmm.
with whatever it is. Or, I've stuffed up in business and I've done this again. Oh yeah, but look what happened last time you had this and you bounced back through it. And, and so our self-worth is so much lower than what others think of us.
Yes.
It's just an interesting one of our worth. So if we are looking at attracting love into our life, let's look at definitely loving ourselves and who we are as a person and what's important to us and them together.
Yes. And not being that super critical judge, like, because you were saying about how you can do it yourself. You talk disparagingly about yourself if you're, oh, look at you're being a blonde again kind of thing.
But and I do. I don't even think about it, but when you hear it, you go, ugh.
Yeah.
You go, oh, there's another one of those negative self-talks or jokes that aren't really jokes because you hear it.
Yeah, that's that self-deprecating kind of like, oh, I'm so terrible at that, or this is a bad aspect of me. But to your point, people are generally, our people around us will always say, oh, but you're so good at this, or you've got this going for you, and we forget. So it's about really using that as a reflection of what's going on in reality, right?
I know, and I think that's the thing is that we forget, and it's because our life is so crazy. Sometimes we don't stop to look at the bigger picture or see the other side or whatever it is.
Right. Right.
Even you and I have just been talking about the Christmas holiday period and how that my body's now just gone, oh, and it's that little bit crazy.
Right.
Just to show where we are.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. But so then to say thank you, because to circle back to what you said earlier about to create more love and more feeling of love is to feel appreciation and gratitude.
Yeah.
For what's going on, for even the thoughts that we have. That's a process that I've often talked about with clients too, is that, that critical voice that we were just talking about that says, oh, you stuffed up, you screwed up.
Yeah.
Thank you to that voice. When we can say thank you to that voice and understand that voice or that critical part is trying to keep us safe, it's coming from love. It's a part of loving ourselves too. So rather than believing it or continuing with the story, ask, what would love do? Just say, it's okay. Everything's good.
It's that
love
trust,
me.
isn't it?
Yeah, it is
Yeah,
trust. Absolutely. And we do have to repeat, I am love, or I love me. That's actually a heart chakra mantra that I've often taught people is, on a full in breath, you say I am in your mind, and then on a full out breath in your mind, say love. I think I've taught you that one, Deb.
Yeah.
That's another beautiful way of attracting more love in your life.
Well, and I also, and so I quite often use the one with the hand under the heart, on the heart, or boob. And I quite often, if things are getting a little bit chaotic, and I label it chaotic, just frustrating, whatever, as I'll just do that, just even for, just for 5-10 seconds or something, just to hold it, and it just takes me out of where I am.
Yeah.
And that, even though I'm not saying I am loved, or I am love, it's just another way of just going, get present. Just get present.
No,
it's
good
not,
for you.
What would love do? It's just stopping.
Yeah.
And just
That's
stopping
beautiful.
the chaos of whatever it is.
No, that's beautiful. And that's actually a really excellent example of a pattern interrupt.
Yeah.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Yeah. I do that quite often.
Good for you. I do those kind of things too. So, my dear, I hope this conversation's helped our listeners think of new, wonderful, loving ways to be and attract all the love that's possible for them. Love to hear.
Definitely. I would, Wow, definitely.
Yeah.
Loved in different levels. There's different levels of love. Just love.
Absolutely. All there is love. That's what we are at the core.
Yeah.
Oh, look, listeners, you've had 2 love songs from Deb in this episode. This is
exceptionally love songs. Yeah.
Thank you so much to our dear listeners, and thank you so much, Deb. This has been fun. I hope that this has helped bring about more love.
Yeah, definitely. I feel warm. I feel warm in my soul doing this one.
Awesome.
Talking today. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Moira, so much.
Thank you. We look forward to talking to you again next time. Bye.
Bye.